Hello, and welcome to our lecture on reading music. This lecture is for those of you who have never read music and know absolutely nothing about reading music and have a desire to do so. If you don't want to read music, if you have no interest in learning certain songs on the harp and playing it, by the traditional method of reading music, then you can go ahead and skip this lecture. It's not for everyone, but what I found is a lot of people don't try to read music because they think it's this really, really difficult, sort of daunting thing. And it's really not. It really is just a matter of learning some really basic information and then just practicing, just going over the information daily until it becomes muscle memory, and you can just look at a song and just know exactly which notes to play on the harp or any instrument. So I just want to say that if you are afraid to read music and just that's your reason for never doing it, then just watch and see if it's for you. But if you really have no desire to do so, then feel free to skip the next few lectures. Okay? So I'm going to get started right away, and I'm just going to show you this replica of the treble clef. You've probably seen this before if you've ever looked at sheet music. It's going to be on the top. Like when you read music, when you see music, there's usually this, the treble, and then there's going to be another which is called the bass clef, and that's going to be right below this, okay? So what we're going to focus on today is we're just solely going to focus on the treble clef, and how you know it's the treble clef is by this symbol right here. And all that means is that these notes are going to be on the top range of your instrument, whether it's a harp or a piano or anything. The good thing about sheet music, reading music, is that it doesn't change. This is going to be the same sort of language for any instrument you play. So the notes that I'm going to show you right now, it's not just for the harp, it's for any instrument. Okay, and I'll go into that in more in depth later, but I just want you to know that this is a universal music language, okay? So first thing to know when you see this is that it's the treble clef, which means it's going to be in the upper portion of the instrument. On the harp, it's going to be the top part of the harp, the strings with the shorter length. So what I do when I first learned music, what I was taught was to use what's called mnemonics to remember the notes. So I'm just going to tell you the way that I learned the particular notes. So for the spaces, what you want to remember is that space equals face. Okay, so the spaces in the treble clef are actually going to spell the word face. Okay, so this one right here is going to be F. This is going to be A, notes found in this space, and then C and E. So that's fairly easy to remember. Face, space, so F-A-C-E. So every time you see a note right here, that's always going to be an F, okay? And because you know it's the treble, you know it's going to be the F above middle C. Now, I'm going to go more into depth in this later, but this note right here is called middle C. Okay, so you're going to know where these notes are on the harp by their relationship to middle C. So let's just look at F, okay? So F, if you look on this chart, it looks like it's just a couple steps above middle C. And that's actually going to be the same placement as on the harp. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there. I am going to go much more in depth with that later, but I just want to let you know that you want to look at this as sort of a replica of the harp itself, okay? So as you go higher up here, you're going to be going higher up the strings. And like I said, I'm going to go much more into the depth later, but I just want to just throw that out there now, okay? So this is going to be F. Whenever you see a note here, it's F. Whenever you see a note here, it's going to be A, C, and E. So it's really that simple. There's also going to be some notes higher, and it will keep going, but I'm not going to go into that now, okay? And there's also some notes lower, and that's what this is, okay? But right now we're just going to do the basics, okay? So F, A, C, E. All right? And for the lines, the method I learned, the mnemonic I learned was every good boy deserves fudge. So again, you can use whatever works for you, but this is the little saying I was taught, so that's always how I think of it still. So for the lines, this line's going to be E, this line's going to be G, this line's going to be B, this is going to be D, and this is going to be F, okay? So every time you see a note here, E, G, D, D, and F, okay? So right now you might be wondering, okay, I know the letters, but how do I find them on the harp? And we are going to go over that in depth in the next few lectures, but for now I just want to, you know, just not overload you with information, and I just want to show you a really simple way to remember which notes these are, okay? So, synopsis, space, face, okay? So F, A, C, E for the spaces. For the lines, again, you can use whatever you want, but I use every good boy deserves fudge. E, G, B, D, F, okay? And if you look closely, you're going to see that they are consecutive. So this is E, and then the space is F, G, A. Another thing to remember when you're reading music, and this goes for every instrument as well, the scale starts over after G. So there's no H, okay? So after G, you're going to go back to A, because there's only 8 notes in a scale, okay? So you're going to have A, B, C, D, E, F, and of course right above will be G. So this is all I really want to cover in this lecture. And again, I want you to keep coming back to this lecture for future reference. If you're not sure what a note is, just keep watching it until, you know, it just becomes internalized, okay? It really is simple. Like I said, this is only nine pieces of information to remember. So the more that you practice, the more it will become very familiar. All right, so I hope this was helpful, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.